Okay, and this you're to simplify. Okay, it's a rational expression. You need to simplify it. Rational expression means there's going to be an x in the denominator. Okay, a variable in the denominator. So there's going to be three kind of things we have to look at. So I'm going to make 3 lines, and this is my final answer down here. Now, first thing you're going to do is ask yourself, do you have a plus or a minus in the top? No, you don't. Nope, the expression on top does not have it. So what you get to do is bring it over here and cross it off. Do you have a plus or minus on bottom? Yes, you do. So you need to put it in parentheses, and that's a polynomial we have to factor when it has a plus or minus like that. So I bring over the 30x to the second minus 25x, and I factor it. I have to rewrite this in factored form. So there are 2 terms. It's a binomial then, so it's GCF. And then I see if we have a difference of perfect squares. Okay, so first thing I do you have x on the end? Yes. Do you have negative in front? No. 30 and 25, those are both in row 5, okay? So 5x. So then I go up here and divide by 5x. So that's 6. X second, x is x, and then minus 5, and 5 is now a constant. Now you bring your 5x down here and cross it off. So when I'm looking at the dots, I'm looking at this. So I have minus, but 6 is not a perfect square. Perfect square are these numbers going this way. Okay, so I write no, and I put 6x minus 5 after the 5x. Then you are now cross this out, and you replace it with what we came up with here. You're rewriting that expression in factored form. So 5x, 6x minus 5. Now, you jump down here. You jump to the third line. This is your parentheses. Do you have that same parentheses on top? No, you do not. So you bring down 6x minus 5. Okay? Then I'm going to go up here, cross it out. Now, this middle line is to simplify the outer factors, the monomial factors, outer factors. That's what I call them. So you have 5x to the second on top, 5x on bottom. Now, a 5 and a 5 you can cancel out. Now, if they're not the same, I'll show you what to do, okay? But they cancel out if they're the same. X second, x first, okay? You would take out the smaller exponent and subtract it from top. 2 minus 1 is 1. So I'm left with x to the first on top, so that means I put x on top if it's to the first. Okay, please put it on top where it belongs. That's your answer. Okay, next problem. We have 40x plus 20 over 10x plus 30. So let's talk about the top. Do you have a plus or minus in the expression, within the expression on top? You do. So parenthesize it, and you see if you can put it in factored form. Remember, if there's no plus or minus, you just bring it straight over. But there is a plus, so that makes this a polynomial that I need to factor. There are 2 terms. So GCF, and then I see if I have DOPS, difference of perfect squares. X on the end, no. Negative in front, no. 20 and 40. Well, let's check out row 20. You'll see 40 in with it. So 20 is the GCF, but just 20, not 20x. So this is going to be 2, and the x will stay plus 1. Okay. Now bring your 20 down, just like the last problem. And you cross it out, and then you see if 2x plus 1's adopts. Well, for it to be a difference of perfect squares, you need a minus sign. So if you have a plus sign right away, it's no. So you bring down your 2x plus 1. So this is what you started with. This is what you ended with. So you cross this out and replace it with 20 times 2x plus 1. And then we have to do the same thing on the bottom because there's a plus sign there. Okay, so I have to rewrite that 10x plus 30. So 2 terms, GCF, and then DOPS. Do Do we have an x on the end? We don't. Do you have a negative in front? We don't. 10 and 30. Here's 10, here's 30, so it'd be in row 10. Just 10 though, not 10x. So I go up here and divide by 10, and that's going to become 1x plus 3. Okay. All right, so I carry down my 10 down here. This is kind of where I put my final factorization. I do not have a minus, okay, so no. So you bring down your 1x plus 3. Okay. Or you can take the 1 away if you want. So now we have 10, and then either 1x or you can just put x plus 3. Now you have parentheses, but they don't match, okay? If you have a parentheses on top that matches a parentheses on bottom, you can cancel them out right here, but we don't. So those parentheses will be in our final answer. 1x, you can put 1x or x, it doesn't matter. Now outside, okay, outer factors. Cross them out, so you're looking at 20 and 10. Now those aren't the same like the 5 and the 5 were. So what you're going to do is divide by what the GCF is of 20 and 10, both of them. So 20 and 10, well here's 20 and 10 in the 10th row. So you want to divide by 10, both of them. So 20 divided by 10 is 2, and 10 divided by 10 is 1. So I have a 2 on top in front, put it in front, and you have a 1 on bottom. Now you really wouldn't need the 1, but I'll put it there for sake, okay? Because having a 1 as the outside of parentheses, you don't really need to put, but I'll put it there. Okay? The 1 really wouldn't need to be in the final answer. Okay, next problem. 2x to the second power plus 10x over 3x to the second power plus 16x plus 5. Okay, so does my top expression contain a plus sign? It does, so you put it in parentheses and then you take it to the scratch paper. Okay, it's 2 terms again, so it'll be GCF. And then the difference of perfect squares. Okay, so I do have x on the end. I do not have a negative in front. 2 and 10 would be 2. Okay. Then you go up and divide by 2x. So that's 1x plus 5 cancel. Okay. So I bring down my 2x down here so I can get rid of it. So I'm just looking at this expression here of adopts. Well, it's got a plus sign. Okay. Well, if it's got a plus sign, it can't be, so that's a no. So then you just bring down your 1x plus 5, or you can put x plus 5. If x has a 1 in front of it, it could be just expressed as x. Okay? So this is what you started with. This is what you ended with. So you cross this out and replace it with 2x times 1x or x plus 5. Okay, that's top. Now bottom, do you have plus? Yeah, you do. You actually have 2 of them, so that expression needs to go in parentheses, and you need to factor it. Okay. Now I'm dealing with 3 terms. So that's GCF and the table. That's how you factor a trinomial. Binomials are GCF dops. Tris is 3. So there's no x, there's no negative. 3, 16, and 5 only appear up in the first row, okay? So if 1's a GCF, don't do it. You're not going to put that down here, okay? Don't do it. ABC, if 1's all you can find. 3 times 5 is 15. It's positive, so the signs have to match, okay? So I'll put 2 signs that match, but because we have to add to positive 16, they need to match as positives, okay? Then I start dividing. 15 divided by 1 is 15, and that's it right there. Now, so we don't get this messed up, you're going to see me make 4 parentheses on every problem. I'm going to put the plus 1 and the plus 15 right there. And then my A is 3x to the second, okay? So you're going to make the x second into x times x, and then you will connect the 3 on each one and attempt to simplify. Okay, so 3 and 1 is already simplified. That would just be in row 1, so that will just stay 3x plus 1. 3 and 15, on the other hand, are in the third row, so those would be divided by 3, and that would give you 1x plus 5. Okay, so there we have it. We are not pulling down the 1. If the GCF is 1, we don't put it down. Now you put these two parentheses right below it. Okay. Okay, the two parentheses units. So this has become this. Okay. Okay, so we have 3x plus 1 and 1x plus 5. Now the hard work's done. Now this is why you have this parentheses on top and bottom, so it cancels. Okay, that's why it's called simplifying. Now you still have that 3x plus 1 remaining. Now in the outer line, all you have is a 2, and you can cross that out. As soon as you place it down here, cross that out. It doesn't cancel, but I'm just going to ignore it. Outer, we have 2x. Well, there's nothing really I can do because we didn't end up with anything on bottom, so that 2x is just going to carry down. Okay? So that's your final answer. Okay, next problem. X to the third minus 4x to the second plus 3x minus 12. And then we have x to the second minus 6x plus 4. Check the top. Do you have any pluses and minuses? Yes, you do. Okay, so you need to parenthesize that and attempt to rewrite it. X to the third minus 4x to the second plus 3x minus 12. Now it's a quadnomial, 4 terms. That's the grouping. Okay. Grouping's a big box. You just put parentheses plus parentheses. That's it. And then the little GCF lines outside. And then little parentheses, tall parentheses. You'll check the tall parentheses at the end to see if that is adopts. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but yeah. So we put our 1x third minus our 4x to the second, then our 3x with our 12. Okay, so I do have an x second on the end. We need to factor that out. There's no negative in front. 1 and 4 is 1. There's no x on the end there, so no x gets factored out. There's no negative. 3 and 12 are in 3 row. So I go up in here, divide by 1x to the second. Then here I divide by 3. So that's going to be 1, x third, x second is x, and then these cancel, minus 4. This is going to be the same thing. So in the little parentheses, at the shorter parentheses, you factor out the expression 1x minus 4, and then you go cross those out. Then I put my 1x second with my positive 3. Now, that 1x minus 4 will stay there. I just bring that down. Okay. Is this adopts? No, it's got a plus sign, so no. So you bring down your 1x second plus 3. You really don't need the 1's in front of the x's. You could just go x minus 4 and x second plus 3, but I'll leave that up to you. So this turns into this. So 1x minus 4, and then 1x to the second plus 3. If you have a coefficient of 1, you don't need it. If you have another one, you need it. Okay, now bottom. Do you have plus and minuses within the expression? We do. Okay, we have a minus and a plus, so that's going to make 3 terms. Okay, so I take that to my scratch paper and try to factor that. Okay, so GCF. And then I go to my t-table because it's a trinomial. So x on the end, no. Negative in front, no. And then it's just 1. So no GCF. Don't put that there if it's just 1. 1 times 8 is 8. It's positive. Okay. So the signs have to match on a positive. Okay. So put 2 signs that match. You are adding to try to get to negative 6. So we want to keep it at negative negative. So I start dividing. 8 divided by 1 is 8. That does not add to negative 6. Okay. Now let's take our 8 and divide it by 2. 2, 4. That adds to negative 6. There you are. Okay, a is 1x to the second. So you are going to see me, even though I might not need it, okay, I'm going to put minus 2 minus 4, and then x, okay, 1, 1. Now, 1 and 2 are only in row 1, so it can't simplify. 1 and 4 are only in row 1, can't simplify, okay? So, take the 1s off the front of your x's and go x minus 2, x minus 4, okay? You're going to see me start that from now on in the video. If I have a 1 in front of the x, I'm just going to get rid of it. So this has turned into this. So x minus 2, x minus 4. Now 1x minus 4 and x minus 4 are the same thing, so you cancel those, and then these two parentheses stay. I'm going to take that goofy 1 off the x. So it's x second plus 3, and then x minus 2. Now outer I would do, but I don't have any outers, okay? There's nothing outside of parentheses, so that's your answer right there. Okay, next problem. We have 9x to the second over x plus 5 times 3x minus 15. Okay, now hold your horses here. Now you have two fractions, but with a multiplication, you can extend it into 1. Now you have 4 expressions you have to deal with as opposed to 2. Okay, so let's look at our top. Does this expression here have a plus or minus sign? It doesn't, so I cross it out and just bring it straight over. You can't factor it if it doesn't have a plus or minus. Let's call it monomial, okay? It's only one term. How about this? That has a minus sign, so I put it in parentheses and I go to my scratch paper, 3x minus 15. So that would be GCF and DOPS. Okay, so no x on the end, no negative, but 3 and 15 are in the third row, so we factor out just a 3. And that becomes 1x minus 5, okay? So I bring down my 3, and then I cross it out, because this is where I look for the dots, okay? Minus, take the 1 off the front of the x. You're going to see me start doing that from this point on. If you have a 1 in front, it has to be the number 1. Anything else you have to keep there. But a 1x can be written as x. Okay, you have a minus, but x isn't to a power, so it can't be a DOPS. No chance of that. So x minus 5. So this has become this. So what I do is I just cross this out and replace it with 3 and x minus 5. I actually put it times there. Okay, do you have a plus or minus in that? Now you're on bottom. Yes, you do. So you put in parentheses, bring it to your scratch paper, but something's going to happen. Okay? It's a binomial. You can see that. So GCF DOPS, if you can even do anything with it. Notice how I said if you can even do anything with it. So I don't have the x, I don't have the negative, okay? 1 and 5 would just be 1, so we're not going to do that. So I'm back up here. Didn't do anything there, so I go to the original. You have a plus sign, so no. So I didn't do anything. So then what I do then is just cross it out and bring it straight over. If you're not able to do anything at all, GCF or DOPS, you just bring it over. And then does that have a plus or minus sign? Obviously not. So I cross it out, bring it over. Now look at your parentheses. Do we have any matches from top to bottom? No, we don't. So they will both stay. X minus 5, x plus 5 are different. Just put them at the end though. That's where they go. Okay, then you can cross them out, but know that they'll be in your answer. Now we got a lot of outer things here. First thing what we need to do is multiply. 9 times 3 is 27, and then the x to the second would stay. Then we just have x on bottom. So you're not doing anything with 27. There's no number down there, so you're just going to drop 27. X second, x first. You take out the smaller, minus it, and it'd be x to the first, so that'd be x, and it's on top, so that's where it goes. Okay, next problem. You see what we have, okay? So, if you have multiplication, you just extend it into 1. Now you're dealing with 4 expressions instead of 2. Let's talk about the top first. Does that expression have a plus or minus? No, it doesn't. So you cross it out and bring it straight over. Don't put it in parentheses. There is minus and plus there. Parenthesize it, and we need to see if that can be rewritten. It's a trinomial, so it'd be GCFT. Okay, so x on the end, no. Negative in front, no. 1, 8, 15 is 1. So you're not going to do it then. So then your ABC is going to go from here. So 1 times 15 is 15. Positive, so that would be a match. Again, a positive is a match, negative is a mismatch. Okay, so put 2 signs that match. They have to add to negative 8, so they will match as negative. 5 divided by 1 is 15. That does not add to negative 8. Or 15 divided by 1, excuse me. Now, 15 divided by 2 is a decimal, so I don't write that pairing down. 15 divided by 3 is 5, so 3, 5. And that's it, okay? Now my A is 1x second. And if you want to use the old way where you just go x, that's fine, okay? So minus 3 minus 5. So x, then you apply the 1 in front if you want, or you can just go x. But either way, these can't be simplified. So nothing. Okay, so that's going to stay the same, okay? Take the 1 off though. X minus 3. When you go down here, if you have a 1 in front of a variable, you probably need to take it off, okay? Okay, so this becomes this. So I cross this out and replace it with the expression x minus 3, x minus 5. Okay, 3x minus 18. Well, that is a minus, so we need to see if we can factor it. So that's 2 terms. It would be GCF. And then difference of perfect squares. So do you have x on the end? No. Do you have a negative in front? No. 3 and 18, so 3, 18 are in 3's row. Okay, just a 3, no x with it though. So it's going to be 1x minus 6. Okay. All right, you carry down your 3, cross it out, and as this adopts, well, it's minus, take the 1 off the front. Okay, if it's a 1, if it's a 4, you keep it there. If it's like any other number but a 1, you keep it there. X doesn't have a power, so that's a no. So then we bring down the x minus 6. So this is rewritten as this. So I cross this out, and then 3, and then x minus 6. Now, finally, 2x to the second minus 14x. There's a minus, okay? So I bring that to the scratch paper and see if I can factor it. 2 terms, GCF, and DOPS. Okay, x on the end, nope. Negative in front, nope. 2 and 14, here's 2, here's 14, they're both 2. Okay, so then I go up and divide by 2x. Okay, so it's going to be 1x plus 7, cancel. Okay, so bring your 2x down. Now, in checking for the dots, you have a plus. Okay, so if you have a plus, you know right away that's a no. We're going to bring this down. I prefer you take the 1 off the front of the x if it's a 1. Any other number would stay but 1. Okay, so this becomes this. Okay, let's cross out where possible. Problem is, I don't see anything. Like I have this, I don't have it on bottom. I don't have this on bottom. So all these parentheses are staying, okay? So x minus 3. Put them at the end of the line, please. X minus 6 and x plus 7. So cross them out, and now we focus in on our outer items. So you have 6x, that's all you have on top. You have two separate outers, those need to be multiplied, so 3 times 2 is 6, and then the x factor would be attached. Okay, funny thing happens, so if they're the same number, I don't need to divide, okay, I can just cancel them out. And these x's are exactly the same, so they cancel out, and we will be left with no outer factors. Okay, now we get a little break from the factoring on the next one, okay? We have 6x to the third y over xy to the second times 3x to the second y over 8, and that is an x to the third. We'll just say it's an x. Okay, so extend it. You see any plus or minuses in that expression? No, bring it straight over. See any in that one? No, bring it straight over, put a times dot though. You see any in that one? No, bring it straight over. Do you see any within that expression? No, bring it straight over. So they're not polynomials, they're all what's called monomials. Okay, so there's no parentheses, okay? So I don't have to worry about the parentheses. So it's all outer, okay? But you need to multiply, okay? You need to simplify the outer into 1, at least as much as you can. 6 times 3 is 18. Then I have x third and x second. We would add the powers, and it's x to the 5th. Then I have y times y, which is y to the second. Now, bottom, you got your 8, okay? So you put that first. And then you have x third, so I would add the exponents, and that would be x to the 4th. Then I just have the y second. Now simplify these, okay? So first you simplify your outers on top, bottom. Then look at your 18 and your 8, okay? Not the same number, you're going to have to reduce by dividing. So you look up 8 and 18, row 2. Okay, so you divide that both by 2. So 18 divided by 2 is 9. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So we end up with 9 over 4. And then forget about those. x5, x4, cancel the smaller, minus, and you have x to the first on top, but it would just be x on top. y2 are the same, they cancel. So that's all I have. So that's how you execute a problem where there's no parentheses. Okay, unfortunately, that's going to change here. You definitely see pluses and minuses, like a lot of them. So, this expression, it's got a plus, parenthesize it, and factor it. So it's 2 terms, so it'd be the GCF. And then I would see if you have adopts. X on the end, you bet. Negative in front, no. 2 and 4 are in 2's row. So you go up and divide by 2x, and you end up with 1x plus 2. So bring down your 2x, okay, and cross it off. So you're not, so the reason why I want you to cross it off after you put it down here, so you're just looking in here. You know exactly where to look for the dots. Well, you have a plus sign, so that right away is a no. Please take the 1 off the front of the x, and it's x plus 2. So this becomes this. Cross it out and replace it with what you ended with. Okay, 3x minus 6. Got to factor that. Okay. It's got a minus. GCF DOPS. Not seeing an x, not seeing a negative. 3 and 6 are in the third row. Okay. So then go up and divide by 3, and you get 1x minus 2. You're not putting x there. Bring your 3 down, cross it off. Now you might have a minus, take the 1 off the front. X isn't to a power though, so that's a no. So you just bring down x minus, you can only get rid of that coefficient if it's a 1, okay? So this becomes this. So out with u, and on the top I put 3 and x minus 2. Okay, x to the second power minus 4. 2 terms, so that would be GCF and dots. No x, no negative, 1 and 4 is 1. Okay, so I don't need to do that. Now when doing the dots, again, you're going to go up here, you have the minus. If the x has a 1 in front, just get rid of it. If it's not a 1, you have to deal with it, but if it's a 1, get rid of it. X second is a perfect square, that's x times x, and so is 4, that's 2 times 2. So that becomes x plus 2, x minus 2. Okay, so we're not doing the GCF with 1, we'll just put those down here. So this has turned into this. Now finally, that has to be factored, so you have x to the second minus 3x plus 2. Okay, that's a trinomial, 3 terms, so GCF, and then the t-chart. No x, no negative, 1, 3, and 2 is just 1, don't do it. 1 times 2 is 2, positive, so that's a match, okay? It is a match, so just put 2 signs at match. It has to add to negative 3. Okay, so we want to keep them at negative. 2 divided by 1 is 2, and right away that's negative 3, so we found it, okay? A is 1x to the second, okay? Now up the t-chart, you're going to see me make my parentheses, so I'm going to put minus 1, minus 2, xx, okay, it's a 1, okay? You can either get rid of that and not simplify. You can put the 1s in front, it's fine, but they can't be simplified, okay? 1 and 1's 1, 1 and 2's 1. Now when you put them down here, don't have the 1s in front of the x's, please. Just put x minus 1, x minus 2. I'm putting 4 every time so people don't screw it up. They're actually thinking about simplifying, okay? So this becomes this. So x minus 1, x minus 2. Now what can go away? X plus 2 is on bottom. Get those parentheses out. I'm thinking parentheses first. X minus 2, this 2 of them, that has to stay. One of them would have to stay. You can only cross out 1 on top, 1 on bottom. You can't get rid of 1 on one side, 2 on the other. So these 2 will stay. Okay, so we can forget them. Now outer, you got 2x and 3. Please multiply those. That would be 6x. We have no outers on bottom, so there's nothing I can do with 6x. There's nothing beneath it, so I'll just bring 6x down on top.